Hey everyone, Alex here. Just want to share some quick video about um, WordPress custom meta fields and how we can filter them. Right, in my previous videos, I show how to add custom post types and custom meta, and I decided to expand it a little bit and add more details. So here we have properties listing, right, with some properties, and each of these has some meta fields assigned. For example, we have bedrooms, bathrooms, price, and what I wanted to add here is to try to add some kind of like filter, right? So to filter this meta, just to show also how what is the main advantage of using these meta fields, right? And this example mostly will be about code, right? So I'll just show you quickly my code, how I achieved that. And by the way, this can be also achieved with plugin without any code, but I just wanted to make it as an exercise, right? So for example, we select 2 bedrooms here in our filter, we now have our listing that shows only 2 bedrooms without any page refresh, right? Then if I select 3, we'll have 3 bedroom listing. Then if I select any, it will show me all the listings, and I can also filter the price. For example, the cheapest one is 20,000, right? So if I move it, make it the cheapest is 50. So now we should filter it away. So now we have starting from 100, and for example, the highest is 500, and I can move it and filter it below 500. So maximum price would be $400,000. So this one is very basic example. It needs a lot of improvement, but I'll just show you how I achieved that. And I think that I'll also make a video about how to do this with a plugin, because that's probably going to be easy. But in this example, I just use code, and I coded it mostly from scratch. And I also tried to use this Cursor AI for the first time. And just try to use this AI coding thing and just to see how it works. And it helped me to get the basic code here, and then but unfortunately there was a lot of mistakes, and I had to actually instruct it how to fix it, and I made a lot of conversation, and I have like a lot of previous chats here. So I was telling what's wrong, what is not working. So that's just my experience. So I don't know. Just let me know in the comments if you try to use some AI tools, if it was easy for you. But for me, it was a lot of conversation back and forth. But it helped me to quickly bootstrap this code, right? And I already, based on this code, I was able to tweak it and then tell what else can be improved, right? So I'll just quickly show you what we have here. So first we have a simple shortcode function, right? So here we are calling add shortcode, call it property filter. That's what what Cursor suggested, right, is to make a shortcode. And yeah, and it's probably the easiest way in this case, because this shortcode, I can place it basically whenever I want. Like I can place it in Elementor, or in this case, it's a full set editing theme. So I just place it right here. Then, yeah, so that's probably a good example, right? Then here we have, so okay, like starting from the top, right? So this code is basically creating the shortcodes and creating this form here, right? So here we have some PHP logic. We'll get to this later. So here we have a form, right? And this form basically have some fields here. So we have a drop-down bedrooms, drop-down bathrooms, and then we have this price slider, right? This one. And the way that it works, right, when our page loaded, right, we have this logic executed here. So first we get all the posts, all our property posts, and then we grab our meta fields, right, here. And for each of the posts, right, we get meta field, and currently I have 3 meta fields: bedrooms, bathrooms, and price. So this bedrooms, bathrooms, and price. And then we loop through these meta fields, and then we basically we just add them into these arrays here, right? And then we just sort them. And for example, in bedrooms, we are just looping through these values that we get. So for example, if our properties here, if we have, let me just return back, if we have like 1 bathroom, the other one has 2 bathrooms, the third one has 3 bathrooms, and the last one has 4 bathrooms. So it will get all these numbers, right? And then we just loop through these numbers. And here we have we set option fields, right? The one that you see here, using get variable, or what they call it, get super global, right? So that's basically what we see here. Like if we select, we see this added into our URL, right? And this is how we can get it right here, right? So we get it. If it's assigned, we select this drop down. Otherwise, we just output value. So then the same we have for bathrooms, and for pricing, it's pretty much the same. The logic here is a bit different. So basically, we also get all the prices, and then we, so for example, this we have property, we have $20,000 property, right? And then we have $500,000 property. So we get all these values, and then we just get the minimum value and then the maximum value, and that's what we assign here to our slider here. So as you can see, minimum 20, maximum 500,000. And then here we just basically print them into the slider, and then what next is we so this function basically, right, creates shortcode that we can see here, that we just place here as a shortcode. Then the next portion here is we have scripts here. So this basically load our JavaScript. So there's a lot of logic here in JavaScript. We'll get to this later. And then we have this slider script, right, the one that you see here. That is like jQuery library. And then we pass some Ajax data also into our JavaScript from PHP, and then there's some basic styling, right? And then this part is also very important. So here we have query vars filter, and we add this query vars, bedrooms, bathrooms, min price, max price. We add them so that if we have this query here, right, that prints these properties, if we add something here, like for example, if I put something equal 1, right, or something like this, so I add this query var, so our loop, our query, I think that should be actually probably like this. Our query will understand this variable, right? So actually, I'll try to test. Maybe we actually don't need it, but I think that that's important. to be able to filter our properties, because currently, right, these properties are filtered using Ajax. So in the way that this logic works, I'll show you later in JavaScript, but PHP part here is very important, and for example, this part here, modify property query, this function. What we do here is that we add a pre-get posts action, right, hook. And here we get some basic checks. We check if we are on a property page, right, that is archive page, and then we get our get variables right from the URL. Basically, for example, this one we get these, and then we add them to our meta query logic here. So this part is very important. So basically, we add them to our meta query array, right? So what is meta query is that if you just search it in WordPress, that's how you can query using meta fields here, right? Now that we have meta key, meta value, meta, and that's what we have here, meta query. And here, as you can see, that we have key, value, and comparison. So and then basically what WordPress does, it executes SQL query, and then gets from database, it gets these properties that match these conditions, basically, right? And here we basically put check bedrooms, bathrooms, max price, min price, so that when we add, like I can add anything here, for example, right? I can put right now bathrooms, right, equals 3. And if I execute this, like load this, right, I should see this property here. That's this portion of the code here. And then we basically set our apply this meta query to our main query that we load here. That's why you see property with 3 bathrooms here, because of this property here. And then the last portion is just styling. I did not work too much on styling, so here it's very generic. I'll probably improve it in the future. So that's all for PHP, right? The next we'll jump into our JavaScript. This is where a lot of stuff happening here, so I'll quickly walk you through. I'm not going to explain here every function too much in detail, because it's just going to take a lot of time. So the most important, right, let's go into most important parts. The most important is this function filter products, right? This part is the most important here. So what this function does here, basically it's calling Ajax on our URL, right, location href, so it means that whatever we see here, and then it's returning the data. So for example, if I just call it right now, right, it will just basically just load the page and call get on this URL, and what our get returns here, like basically I will just open our console, our network, I will click all here, and when I refresh the page, so the first request that you see here, this one, property slash, right, this is basically a get request. So when we load the page, we just get all of this, we just request it from the server, right, from our server, and we get a whole page as a response, right? So if we go in our response, we will see like all our page. So basically all HTML, right? We get it and the page loaded. So that's what this does here. So we get all the page, And then what we do here is that we select our loop container. So in this case, we have this, our loop container is this here, right? Our blog post template, I think this one, right? This is our loop container. This is where our loop runs, right? And then what we do is that we replace this loop container, right, with the new data that we get. But how do we get this new data, right? Because if I call this right now, we will just get these 4 properties, right? We have 4 properties because I have 3 currently here and the other one is on the second page. So in total we have 4, right? That is the 4th property. But if I add here any query attribute, right, like bathrooms 3, that's what we will get. That's the URL that we'll call, and we will get basically this, right? We will get only 1 property. So and then how it works is that we get, let's return back, we call our URL, right? And then we just replace this part with a new loop that we get from our URL. So I know it can sound a little bit tricky to understand, but that's what this portion does. And then we just call this function basically when we select our drop down here, right? This is our select event. So when our form change here, so if we change it to 2, if we wait, yeah, you see this part loaded. So what we do here is that we, when the drop down change, right, when our form change, right, this is our form select, then we check our query string parameter, yeah, and this one is important function, of course. So what it does here is basically get all the vars from the URL, right? And it's just like basically scan all the keys that we have in URL, these parts, right? These bedrooms, bathroom, these keys, it gets all of this, and then it's removing it or adding based on what we have in our filter, right, what we select here. And then what we do next is, as you can see, right, we call this function that already filters, basically that replaces this loop here with the new loop. So these 2 functions are very important, right? Update query string parameter, remove query string parameter. They basically add or remove these parameters here in our query. So for example, if I add 3 bathrooms here, you can see our parameter added here, right? And now we don't see anything because we don't have matching criteria here. It doesn't match right now. So, and then if I click any, it will remove this parameter, right? So, and then it's matching right now, it's showing. Right, so these are these 2 functions that are removing or adding query parameters. Then we have a fixed pagination function that basically fixed pagination, but I think it still needs improvement, so for now I'm going to skip it. And then we have our slider, right, initializing here, that is this, and this basically also what it does here is that it gets attributes from our PHP code, right? So it gets, for example, these here, data min and data max, it gets these parameters and then creates a slider based on this range, right? And then this portion set min val and set max val is basically gets these attributes here, and these attributes will get populated when we change slider, right? So when I move and make it 92,000, and now it's added here, right? And now if I refresh the page, what happens is that you can see that it's added here into our data attribute, and now our slider initializes with this data attribute. So now our price, even if I reload the page, right, our price is set to this 92,000 because it gets this value from here and add it here. So what it means is basically we can just, for example, we can actually like share this URL, right, to anyone. And when they open this URL, it will load this like that. So that is like a benefit, right? Is that we can basically share with these parameters, and it will just show them only these properties based on these parameters. Okay, so this is where the slider gets initialized. This is where it gets updated. So overall, right, this code can look a little bit confusing if you don't understand anything here, what's happening, right? But that's just example how it works. And for me, that was just an exercise just to practice also and to achieve this without plugin. And the benefit of this is that we are not relying on any plugin. So it won't update, it won't break when there's any update. So we can fully maintain it. We can control anything here, and but you can totally achieve this using a plugin. For example, filter everything. This plugin is amazing. You can use free version. Like this here can be achieved with free version, right? Something more advanced, you need already pro license. So, but with this plugin, you can basically achieve something similar and even more, right? There's some additional features. So you can just check it out if you want, right? So it supports custom fields here, as you can see, and it's mostly used for WooCommerce, but I think can be also used with custom post types as well. Here they have ACF example with, I think, with regular, not only with WooCommerce. I think you can also use custom post types here. So they put here any content, post, houses, anything, right? So it works in a very similar way. So we can also like filter any number, and then we have this, and then we can reset filter, and then it gets back. So it's basically something similar, but in our case it's more like simplified and more lightweight version. So what next? What I want to do next, right? So first of all, I'm going to improve design also, so it should look something more like this. Let me just load. Yeah, it will look a little bit better. And then I can add maybe additional fields and just style this filter a little bit better, right? And then I can also try to show the same example, but without custom code with plugin, right? So this one is currently I'm using plugin, my own custom plugin. So if you want me to show how to code it like from scratch, I don't know if you are gonna enjoy it or if you like it, but here I basically use a lot of AI. So, and then I just fixed it based on my knowledge. So again, guys, don't rely too much on AI because it makes mistakes all the time and your code will not work. And then just also I don't think that AI can replace easily you, because just to create this I have to instruct AI with so much information. I was just telling exactly what I want to do, and if you don't have this knowledge, if you cannot tell AI, this cursor in this case, that what you want to achieve, it will not work, right? It only works if you have this knowledge. So you should understand how the meta works, how this get vars work, how to get meta, how to look through meta, So don't just rely on AI, just use your knowledge together with AI assistance, right? And then you can create something like this. And hope that this is useful for someone. So if you like, you can also leave a comment and tell me what else I can improve, or what else you want to see, right? I am planning to do this kind of videos about what is possible with WordPress. Maybe I think this should be a series, right? I already have 2 videos about custom how I output these fields here with plugin and without plugin, and now with this filter. So I guess that this is like a series, right? And then so basically in the end we should have this beautiful listing website with properties. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.